My tag is G-Man, PGA. Professional graffiti artist. I live in Patterson Projects. Yep, was born there, 21 years. Do I think of myself as an artist? Yeah, in a way. Because I got style and I could draw. That's the only way I think of myself as an artist. But as far as the interest for being an artist, it's not really there. Nah, it's not really there. I'm in my own private world. It's not like really art and graffiti, even though I may do something that's called graffiti, which is writing places, but I just, see it as a habit of writing. Got a habit of writing. Pens, pencils, whatever it is. Chalk, blood. I'm serious, I even wrote my name with blood before. Right, how'd I start off? I don't know. All I know was in 1970 one time, I was living at my aunt's house on 180th and 3rd Avenue. Next thing you know, I was writing. I was going to Sears and Roebuck's and stealing a little bit of paint they had and just going around my aunt's way writing my name all over the place. I was writing Gordon 142. From Gordon 142, I started writing Cool Kid 142. And it was Cool Kid and Rosie, because there was a girl that I used to mess with named Rosie. So I was writing her name for her, Cool Kid and Rosie. Then I switched on to Little Saul, and by then it was 1975, 1976. I was writing Little Saul. Then from then on, it went to G-Man.
Somebody used some of this shit. What is that? Fat cat?
Phase 2, he used the 2 and put the 2 dots on his name after the 2 to resemble, that he's phase 2, that number. Mm-hmm. So at times I used to do a G-Man tag. I used to do a G with just 3 dots. Well, that was like coincide, something that he would use, dots, to represent man. But that was a whole different understanding when it represented man. As far as me just going with the dots 1, 2, 3, that represent, something that he left behind. The same thing when I used to do the G-Man tag, on the M-A-N, I used to always have stars on it. And he always had a star in his name like that there. Now, I had a girl that she was with me during the whole time that I had got the name. And for some reason or another, as I wrote the G, it just started off with a C, and that was her first name. It started with a C. It was Camille. So that was the C, and then the 7th letter in the alphabet, that gives you a G. Besides what I had added on, which was a V at the bottom. And that's, what I represent as victory. And that's how I write my name, plain and clear. Because it was like on a point of really getting fame, people reading your name and understanding it. Not people looking at it all scribble, scrabble, and consider it graffiti. Let them see it and understand it, like you writing it for a purpose. You're not writing it because you just want to write it, you just want to write graffiti. Let that symbol be seen all over the place and nobody will never know what it stands for. You losing out. So that's why I would make my name nice and clear so people could see it. And that's another thing that was important to me, a mission. Like, a mission, I say, for example, all right, I'm going to do something, graffiti. I'm going to do it for a certain amount of hours. I'm going to do it a certain way. And I'm going to do it with a certain amount of artillery, like spray paint or paint. And I'm going to do it with a certain color. Like, for instance, I'm going to do the whole layup, every car that's there, which is 60. I'm going to do that whole layup. I'm going to write on the ceilings, and I'm going to write behind the posters, and I'm going to write on the headlines. Nothing else. And I'm going to use black and blue ink, you know, for a certain amount of time. And that's what you go out to do. Now, at another time, you may say, well, I'm going to do the outside. I'm going to do 2 throw-ups. I'm going to do 2 throw-ups, and then I'm going to go on the inside, and I'm going to spray paint my name on about half of the layup, which is 30 cards, and then I'm just going to go home. And, you know, your mission is over once you have completed whatever you say you're going to do. That graffiti world is like people just go around writing their name, trying to get their name all over. As much as they feel, you know, they're gonna do it. You know, as much as their body gonna let them do it, or whether they mind. You know, because some people, you know, they writing now and they still want to get up. All they gotta do is put time and patience in it, and they'll get their name all over. That's how you become king. Time and patience, and you know, you stay within the writing world. You just writing and writing. Every day you write. You just trying to bomb, crazy. Everything you do, you just trying to write. Every place you stop, you should write. You know, things like that. You know, that'll make them, you know, get up, get their name all over.
Yo, which one of you got the banner red? You use all that shit, though?
Well, my name is Delta2. I was born in Manhattan, in Mount Sinai, near 99th Street. Right now, I'm 17 years old. I just live with my mother and my stepfather. My father lives in the Bronx. Yeah, I see him a lot. I don't like seeing him when I'm in trouble, though, because he gets real upset. My pops, he's black, and my mom's is Puerto Rican. I started writing Delta, and this dude started acting stupid and going over me. So I just started writing Delta2. And that's when I just started going off. Back then, I wrote with Mac, Chevy, Jam 31, Radio, Shaq, Avon, and that's all, and Daw. I used to want to go writing with a lot of people, and they used to tell me no, or get out of here, or give me 50 cans and you could come. I used to be like, oh. And then Mac, he used to like snap on me and like say, you're never gonna get up. And everybody used to say that, and then I was just, that's why I really quit too, you know, because they used to say that too and tell me to stop. I said, yeah, mine is all right. So, you know, I had just stopped. But it's no fun being a toy, because you don't get no respect. You don't get no people, you know, looking up to you or saying, or when they say, have you heard of Delta2? They go, what? What's that? When they say, have you heard of Delta2? They go, yeah, he's up. Or they say, yeah, Delta2 and Sharp. We're like, yeah. I had a Sharp TV like a couple of years back, and I just saw the name on the TV set, and I thought about writing that. And I had written a lot of names before that. And, you know, there comes a time when, you know, you just can't keep changing your name every week. You just have to settle upon a name, and I settled on that name. Delta's been out longer than I have. He's a year older than me. But he didn't always used to want to go on, like, the weekdays. He just used to want to go on the weekends, you know. He wasn't really that into it then. He was, like, kind of phasing out of it because he had been caught. And he had been in a lot of trouble, and his parents made a big deal. But I, like, you know, I, like, dragged him. I, like, convinced him. You know, I, like, begged him and shit. See, me and Delta, even though we hadn't known each other before we met, we were both in the same state. We were both oppressed writers in the sense that we weren't that good, but we were trying to start out, you know, trying to start to write. But yet, our so-called graffiti friends at the time oppressed us. They told us we were toys, we didn't have style, they didn't want to take us, you know, things like that. So when me and him got together, it was like we wanted to get everybody back for calling us toys and for just like saying how bad we were and things like that. So the only way to get everybody back was to take King. And the only way to take King is to just do the consecutive bomb every day, every day, every day, every day. Because the faster you do it, the faster you take King, the faster I was going to be gratified that I had, like, you know, spit dirt on all these people who thought I was so bad. But yet we turned around and took King. And the only way to do that
is to do whatever you can to get your paint. And like a year and a half ago, I was in a state of mind where I would do just about anything to get paint.
You have to get in the train to write, and you have to cross the tracks and everything. You might get hit by a train coming, you might get electrocuted. Writing in the insides is bombing. It's like just making a mess out of the car and just putting your name everywhere you want. Because there's nobody there, and the lights are off, and you could just go crazy. Bombing is scribble scrabble, put it down. And graffiti is art. I don't consider myself as a tough guy in graffiti, I'm just an artist. Graffiti is not for fighting and everything, it's just for art. If somebody goes over me and I see him and he got paint, I'll take it from him. But if the dude could fight, if I know he could beat me up, I just, all right, you got it, okay. I don't say nothing. I just catch one of his pieces one day, one that I've known that he's worked on for a long time. I just take a big, big tag over it and just write payback. It's like a punch in the face to the dude. Instead of like when I seen him, fighting him, I just catch his piece and just punch it with my name. Partners are wherever you go, whatever you do, or whatever you see, however you do it, it's always you and him, always. We're not partners no more. We're good friends. We used to be partners because, we used to go up every day. Then it got to a point one time, which he told me, and he knows it's true, that he tried to get up more than me. Well, I was helping him, get started and get up, and I was like, it really like hit me aside. I was like, damn, man, why you doing that? I'm trying to help you, and you trying to get up more than me? He just came out, he's like a freshman. You think he's a senior. You think he's past senior. You think he's a teacher already. He's not, He's just a regular writer that's up because of a reason. I'm not saying it because I'm souped up, or I gave Sharpo the fame, so I'm bad, I don't go around saying that. I just, I'm a quiet writer, I don't say nothing.
I would have to say each partnership has its own individual guidelines. And a lot of dudes aren't partners in the same way that me and him are partners. In the sense that, like, there was a time when I would probably, like, only go with him. Other partners aren't necessarily like that. We're kind of like in the process of getting our divorce papers. It seems like every time I'm getting chased, like every step I take, I'm always like, oh, I can't take this anymore. This is the last time. I'm gonna quit, blah, blah, blah. Like yesterday, I was running out the tunnel, boy, and I ran right into a signal light and fell down on the tracks, and I busted my ass. And then I ran and I tried to jump on the train and I couldn't. And every step I was taking, I was just like, damn, I gotta quit. But when I was like on the train, like home free, I was just like, nah, you can't quit. My parents look the other way, but they don't really approve. Your parents feel real responsible for you, so they get real involved. So that's real upsetting. But there's nothing you can do about it, I guess. I could stop, but I don't want to stop. Because I just can't. It's like graffiti is like a terminal cancer. To me, anyway. I've definitely led a poor life and a rich life. I spent 5 days in my mother's house and the weekends in my father's house. As a child, I always hated it because I could never keep my clothes in one place, my comic books or anything. But I've grown accustomed to it. It's a part of my life. I'm not going to say I like or dislike it. To me, what people think of you is only a measure of your social acceptance, not necessarily your artistic acceptance. So as long as I know that I may not be the greatest, but I'm better than Mo, Larry, and Schmo, then at least I prove something, you know what I'm saying? I prove that I'm better than them, and I'm up more than them. See, it don't seem worth it when you're sitting in jail and all that. And it don't seem worth it when you're like getting chased by these work bums with sticks and whatnot. But when you're just chilling out all fresh and whatnot, and your piece just passes by, and people are just like, oh, shit, man, that's his face. Yo, when you did that, yo, that's death, man. Then it's worth it, you know what I'm saying? Then it's worth it.
Yo, Sharp, you got that brick?
What?
Brick. Yo, boom.
Yeah, you know.
I write spin. I'm 16. I'm half Puerto Rican, half black. I live in Brooklyn. Well, when I first started writing, right, I should just write on mailboxes around the neighborhood, you know, stuff like that. It wasn't really none. I used to just like to see my name, right? And then after a while, like when I started going to high school, I started riding the train every day. Most of the IRT trains were clean back then. It's a few years ago. So I just started writing on, you know, on the insides. And I like to see my name and whatnot. Yeah, point to my name. Yeah, that's me, you know. And then after a while, I really started getting caught up in it. I started doing pieces in books. One day my friend said to me, you know, why don't you come to the layup with us and we'll do a burner. I made the mistake of trying to do the burner the first time I ever went to the layup. It was a bad mistake. She came out real hurt. After I did that piece, I said, nah, this isn't working. So I reverted to some simple stuff like blockbuster style, you know, simple styles and whatnot. I learned how to handle paint, how to do my outline and whatnot. Then I started, you know, twisting up my letters a little bit, putting a little style into them. Then, you know, I started twisting them up a little bit more. Put a lot of style into them, right? And then I started hooking up the colors nice. My stuff nowadays looks clean. After I got to know the layup and whatnot, I started feeling safe going there by myself. So I started going by myself. You get a few guys that you hang with, right? And you just, you know, start a crew. And like, I'm the Prez, right? I just said, I'm Prez. This is my crew, TFS. The fresh style. You start putting your crew on every piece you do, right? And after a while, your crew will get famous. Everybody will be down in it. I want a crew where everybody in my crew has some kind of artistic talent. And everybody in my crew is known. Well, they call it graffiti, but you know, there's a lot of different forms of graffiti. Like, there's some people out there, all they want to do is write their name on the insides. There's some people out there, all they want to do is throw-ups on the outsides. And there's other people, all they want to do is burners. And then there's some people that want to do all three. The best is to be burners on the outsides. And like right now, right, I don't know, I'm just in the mood. I just feel like taking King of the 2 5s, right? So I'm putting up J.A. on the 5s. J.A. It's just a throw-up. Last summer I was King of the 4s, and you know, I got a lot of fame from that, but then they scrubbed the line and all that shit just disappeared. And now Delta Sharp has the 4-line line. So there's different kinds of king. Like if you're king of the insides, right, you get your name on every car on the insides. When people call you king of the insides. If you want to be king of the outsides, you could either do a lot of throw-ups, or if you could king a line with burners, that's like the ultimate, you know. It's like you got a burner on every train, you know. Everywhere people look, they see a burner on every train. That's the hardest thing to do because it takes up so much paint and it takes up so much time. But if you could do it, it's like the greatest thing. It doesn't really hurt when your throw-up gets crossed out. It hurts when your burner gets crossed out. Well, throw-up only takes like 5 seconds, and just a few strokes of paint. A burner could take like 3 hours and about 10, 20 cans of paint. It just hurts, man, when you see that piece that you took 3 hours to do, risking your life in the tunnels and whatnot, just to do that piece, and then it gets crossed out 3 days later. You're just like, damn, you know, why they gotta do that? Why they gotta be doing shit like that? It just gets me, you know, seeing artwork crossed out. It just gets to me. I try to change my style every time I go up, but the way I color in my pieces, you can always tell it's me. I like to use a lot of hookups, right, with fine lines coming out of it, like real fine lines and whatnot. When you see fine lines on any piece, you can tell that's me, right? And also, I like to use light colors with a light outline and then white going around it. It makes it kind of glow. People say I bite. I don't think I bite. Biting is when you take another writer's style and you use it on your piece. Biting is like the biggest insult you could give to a person. I'm not just out there just to get my name up. I'm out there to make it look good at the same time. You know, sooner or later I'm going to have to stop. And besides, you know, the older you get, the more of a penalty it carries if you get busted, you know. A 30-year-old man gets busted riding on trains. You know, how's that gonna look? Already I'm kind of like losing interest in it, you know. The white trains and whatnot. See, what they're doing is, when they paint the trains white, they put up the fences and shit, right? It's taking the art away. But people will always write graffiti. People will always write graffiti. You could fence up every yard in the city, right? And you can make it with laser beams and whatnot so nobody goes in at all, right? But people will still write on the trains while it's moving. They don't realize that.
My main name is Dez TFA, but the name I started out with was, you know, Spade 429, you know. And after a while, you know, you get tired of writing the same name, you know, you want to expand your, you know. So I wanted like a nice small name that I could get up everywhere and do it quick without getting grabbed. So I came up with Dez, you know, I like D, the E, you know, from Spade, and I wanted a letter nobody else hardly uses. So I took the Z. I put Dez, and, you know, and after Dez, I started, you know, adding on other pieces to my name, like Dezzy Dez, you know, Disaster, like that, you know, that's how graffiti goes. Graffiti always been in me, I say since I was a little kid, you know, but I say, let me see, I first started piecing on walls like about 1978, you know, in the street, you know, get like 2-3 cans, go in the schoolyard and practice, you know. Started coming to the trains in 1979. I was on the number 6 train. I was hitting the insides, you know. I used to write Zell, you know, Spade, 429, you know, TFA, TCP, the Crazy Partners, you know, and corporations, you know. And then as 1980, that's when I, you know, went to the 3 yard. And, you know, I started, you know, getting over a lot. Getting over means, you know, not getting grabbed, you know. So I started going, you know, like every day. You know, just got like a habit, like, you know, a junkie getting, you know, is on dope, you know, graffiti, getting paint. This became a habit, you know. And here I was going to the yard every day. Now, you know, I was king of the line, you know. Everybody wanted to do pieces with me, you know. I did pieces with certain people, but some people I ain't do no pieces with them. And they got jealous, and they started crossing a lot of my pieces out, you know. It started wars and everything. And it ain't really worth it, you know, getting killed by somebody that you never even seen before, you know. And just because they didn't like the way your piece looked or you went over them, you know. It's just like anything you do, no matter what it is, like, once you're good at it, there's always going to be jealous people, you know, that's jealous of you. Mostly everybody has their own line. I was king of the number 3 train and the number 1 train, Broadway line and the West Side. It feels good, like, you know, when you pay, you know, to pay your fare, or you hop the train or whatever, and you walk down the stairs, and whatever train pulls into the station, and you see your name in big, bold, bright colors, and other people are looking at it and saying, wow, that's bad. Like, I wish I could do it. And you say, hey, it's bad? I did it, you know? And they're like crowding around, you know, yeah, can you do a piece for me? You know, can you do a piece and do my name, piece in my black book, you know, piece in my apartment and all that. And it makes you feel good, you know, that I did it, you know, that's me, you know. It's like you telling the world something, like I am somebody, you know, I'm an artist, but they don't recognize it as art. A lot of people recognize it as vandalism, and it's not. And so I started doing pieces and using a lot of different colors, you know, and stopped using markers, you know, vandalizing the inside of the subway cars and things like that. You know, once I started drawing characters, you know, and other people, older people were saying, you know, it looked nice. That's when I started realizing that it's not really graffiti, you know, it's art. I never go and do one piece and leave. I feel that's like being toyish. Like, if you're gonna go, you go out to bomb. Like, you do 4 or 5 cars in one night. That's where it shows a king, you know. A king
go to the yard with like 30, 40 cans, you know. A toy, I go in the yard with 2 cans. And the 2 cans, you only go do 1 piece. Me, I'll go in the yard with 30, 35 cans, 40 cans, you know. I'll stay in the yard from 9 o'clock and I'll leave 4 in the morning. You know, I don't care what my mother say, I'm going painting. But when I go painting, ain't nobody stopping me. MTA, nobody. I'm Dezzy Dez, TFA, and I don't play. If you do a piece and you don't get no picture, it's like you wasted your time, because out the world they're going to erase it and it's going to be like it ain't exist. But if you got the picture of it, you always got something to show. Like if I did all those pieces and ain't had no pictures, 10 years from now, I wouldn't have nothing to show that I was a graffiti writer, you know? Like just like if the world ends, you know, and my book survived, you know, they look at it and be like, wow, graffiti existed, you know. As you get older, you start feeling that I ain't gonna waste my time, you know, running from cops and risking getting caught stealing paint, you know, and have other riders looking at me that I never even seen, looking like they're gonna kill you. And then when you wind up meeting them, you wind up beating them up, you know, things like that. You start feeling, I'm gonna get out of this, you know, I'm starting to get older. But as you get older, I don't care who you are, graffiti's always in your heart, and you're always gonna come back and do a piece. I don't care.